The thing I hated most was the nightly ritual of watching TV with my family, but it was a tradition we never broke. Every evening at 6:30, the family had to gather in front of the television. Mom, Dad, and my younger brother claimed the main sofa. My two sisters squeezed onto a tiny footstool, and my older brother lorded over the recliner. Only I was left without a dedicated seat. I usually ended up crouching by the sofa, but I didn't care. I had no desire to watch the TV anyway. Then my father bought a brand new top-of-the-line large-screen television, and that is when the strangeness began. I noticed the things they were watching were bizarre. They weren't watching movies, shows, variety acts, or the news. The TV screen was utterly blank. What they were staring at, completely mesmerized, was a massive, decades-old blank rectangle. Yet, judging by their expressions and emotions, they were utterly engrossed. They would be tense one moment, roaring with laughter the next, or even screaming in terror. I simply couldn't comprehend it. That night, they started screaming at the blank screen again. The shrieks lasted for 2 or 3 hours. I was so uneasy I could barely sit still. The next day, they were all hoarse, but none of them knew why. Sometimes I couldn't help but ask them what on earth they were watching. They would just yell at me, calling me stupid and telling me I didn't understand, ordering me to watch more carefully. Once I had enough and snapped at my father. "The TV isn't even turned on. How can I see anything no matter how hard I look?" My father's face contorted with rage. "Don't get smart with me," he hissed. "If you don't want to watch, get out and go back to your room." That one line almost crushed me. The screen wasn't always blank, though every now and then it would flicker and light up. But no one in the family seemed to notice except me. Once I even saw a picture of us, the whole family watching the TV, on the screen, like a live recorded video feed. Sometimes the picture would glitch and flash, and every time it flashed, someone in the on-screen scene would randomly vanish for a few seconds. Anyone would be driven mad by such bizarre events. The only reason I continued to sit with my family in front of the TV was that there was nowhere else in the house for me to hide. The house was full of guests. By guests, I mean things only I could see. They crawled into our living room, bedrooms, and kitchen through the sealed fireplace chimney and the back door. They were everywhere. I could only catch sight of them in the TV screen's reflection. There was one thing with goat legs that liked to nibble on my mother's hair. Another monster with a ginseng-like tongue constantly whispered negative things into my father's ear. There was a gigantic creature, entirely blue, a three-eyed girl, and others I couldn't even begin to describe. I desperately wished I couldn't see them. All I could do was crouch beside my family, pretending I saw nothing, and wait for them to finish watching so I could go to bed.